Hello, everyone. I thought I would hop on and read a thing I've just written. Started as a letter to a friend, and then it just kind of got away with me. So I thought I'd read it out here. Uh, my introduction goes: I'm getting a strong feeling that Jordan Gray might be the final straw for many people. Like Eddie Izzard, he's another Rachel Dolezal figure, but unlike Eddie, he doesn't make the mistake. He didn't make the mistake of singing a memorable song about how much he hates women to a national audience. This was too much for one friend who has started to become more vocal on the issue. I wrote him this letter and I hope he doesn't mind my sharing it here. Dear old pal, I wouldn't presume to just give it to you, as sudden unexpected emails might not be what you're looking for right now, but would you like a free subscription to my website? I report on all aspects of gender insanity with a team of brilliant women and a few splendid men. Whistleblowers are contacting me all the time. The latest one concerned the bloke on Friday Night Live, who I'm afraid I call Frankenhooker 3000 because, like you, I've run out of patience. Years ago, when I was still trying to understand what was going on, a therapist told me that young boys were suddenly demanding estrogen from their parents, claiming to be trans because they wanted to grow breasts, and as quickly as possible. Why do they want to grow breasts? I said. Well, she said, as if it was obvious, they want to play with them. It wasn't obvious to me. As a teenager, I suffered from crippling loneliness and horniness as well. But at no point did I think to myself, maybe I can grow a pair of breasts and fill them up. But I do have great sympathy for these boys. They were left alone with the keys to the biggest dirty bookstore of all time, the internet, home of some of the worst pornography imaginable, on tap, like music on a streaming service, and it drove them mad. A generation of young men has grown up to claim that women don't exist and children can consent and literally any boobs will do, even your own. What a coincidence that these young men came along with the free availability of hardcore pornography. Jordan Gray is one of those unfortunate boys, grown up completely oblivious to the corrosive nature of his misogyny and the fetishistic nature of his dysphoria. Understandably oblivious. Wouldn't you rather believe that you were a civil rights hero and not someone who fell down a pornographic rabbit hole and popped out looking like a pornographic rabbit? There are thousands of these men, similarly damaged, less able to play the piano, and they are demanding access to women's spaces. You can see a dizzying array in the brilliant video by Skirko Spinney. None of these men should have access to women's spaces. None of them, including Jordan, including Eddie. Let me know about the subscription. Love and solidarity, Graham. I didn't actually finish it as friendly as I should have, because it's to a friend. But it turned into more of a piece. So that was the thing I wanted to say about Jordan. He's proving very useful. I think people are finally beginning to see what's going on, and I think that it's interesting that he saw it as a great moment, a great civil rights moment when he stripped off. But what he actually did was he revealed to people that he doesn't have dysphoria; he has a fetish. Or his dysphoria has taken the form of a fetish, or his fetish has taken the form of dysphoria. Whatever it is, it's pornography. It's the availability of pornography. It's sort of driven society mad. It suits Channel 4 perfectly, because there's always been an element within Channel 4 of execs who are down with the youth, who think that the best way to be down with the youth is to copy the worst excesses of the internet, when in fact they should be providing a respite from the internet. So that was just so this is the kind of what I was going to say was, this is like a victory of the worst kind of Channel 4 executive, the kind who wear funky clothes and think you should put a soundtrack of garage on everything. But it's horrific, and I'm glad everyone's seen it, because it needs to be seen and it needs to be talked about. And we need to talk about what we're going to do about these young kids, about these poor boys, so that they don't grow up, to be very confused adults. that was the first thing I was going to say. The second thing I was going to say is that I've been a bit sicky recently, a bit tired, and the gender wars don't stop for anyone. It keeps coming in. Like today, I found out that Dr. M and her friend Bladders has been arrested. Is it Bladders or Bladders? Sorry, if I don't know which one it is. Me and Dr. M have had our differences, but I find that absolutely shocking. She's a very important voice in this fight, and for her to be arrested for defending women's spaces is something we should all be furious about. You know, I see that Posey has had to cancel Portland, for which I'm very glad, because I don't think she would be safe there, because the lies that have been told about her and amplified by useful idiots like Owen Jones could get her killed. So so good. Come back to us, Posey, and let's get rage in here. Let's have it. I think we need a day of rage. I'm so angry about all this stuff, and I'm sure I'm not alone, you know. Although what that form would take, I have no idea. Just me going, what else was I going to say? Yeah. So I'm feeling a bit sick, and I have to move, which is brilliant news. So that's going to be a little bit weird and all over the place. But these stories keep coming in. They keep coming in, and I haven't even got to the one I wanted to tell you about. This is amazing. Hold on a second. Let me find this. Someone told me this morning that the author of a play that's doing well or something, I don't know what it's doing. It's either been announced or it's coming out or anything or whatever. But it's called what's it called? Oh yeah, it's called Fantastically Great Women Who Changed the World, right? And it talks about people like Frida Kahlo and Anne Frank. And other people like this. But here's the thing. It's written by a fucking trans-identified bloke. And he calls women TERFs. And he's siding with the Society of Authors against the women who've been trying to get that, to stop the bullying of Joanne Harris and the bullying that left Kate Clancy nearly suicidal. You know, he calls J.K. Rowling. What does he say about J.K. Rowling? Let me see if I can remember. Yeah, he calls J.K. Rowling. He wrote a tweet about J.K. Rowling. Screw you, wizard bigot. This is a bloke who's written a musical called Fantastically Great Women Who Changed the World. You know, I mean, that's why it's just you know. Anyway, that was the second thing. What was the third thing? There was one more thing. Yes, the only final thing is, been a bit ill. Don't feel chipper, but these stories keep coming in. I have someone working on one. Sorry, I'm going to have to get that, but I have someone working on one. And I'm sorry, I have JL who's going to be doing the War on Women. That's coming soon, and other things will come out, but it might be a bit scattered from me, is all I'm saying. All right, lovely to speak to you all. See you soon. Bye-bye. Sorry. There we go.